დეუნლარდ მაგიდასთან რომ მოხვედი და იქ ძალიან ბევრი რო ილაპარაკე ერთი სულს გაგიმწარებ короче შეხო არ მანებით თავს რა აი სულს გაგიმწარებ რა ჩემი ნათქვამი დაიმახსოვრე
Every time Michael Todd hits a new PR, I'm thinking this has to be it. There has to be a limit up to which Michael can push his body before it finally says no, before he finally starts failing these lifts. But no, somehow this guy keeps on pushing forward. He keeps on breaking his own records. This time in the pronation lift, Michael Todd lifted 87 kilos, which is a new world record. So up until now, we all were thinking that LEVAN can probably beat Michael's record anytime he wants. It's just that he's not interested in that lift. That's why Michael Todd has that record. But now, when Michael is approaching almost 90 kilos, I'm not sure if people can say for sure that LEVAN can break this record even if he tries for a couple of months. 90 kilos is going to be a pretty serious number. And that's where I think both LEVAN and Michael Todd can peak out. I don't think any of these can go further than 90 kilos. And a new personal best for Michael in the riser lift with 63 kilos. This is one of the most important parts in Michael's game. He has to maintain that riser and he has to maintain that pronation. And as of now, he's setting PRs in both of them. That's why he's looking pretty much unbeatable on the table. And in this pronation based back pressure lift, Michael did a new PR or world record, whatever you want to call it, 127 kilos. Michael also did a short video explaining how this lift is exactly what he's doing on the table. So it was an answer to people who are saying that it is not effective, it is just an ego lift. I too have two questions or maybe two explanations why people may have said that. Number one is the angle of Michael Todd's arm is pretty open. Yes, Michael anyways arm wrestles with an open arm in the straps many times, as we saw in the Genadi Kvikvina match as well, but that is not in the center of the table. That is towards one side, towards the losing side. This lift is in the center of the table with a pretty much open arm angle. That's not how he's going to arm wrestle on the table. Maybe that's why people were saying that. And the second reason could be the massive elbow fouls which Michael was doing. But I don't think this is any legit reason, because any professional arm wrestler at this point, I think they can train any way they want, and when it comes to match day, they can simply ignore or opt out the flaws from their training which they did before the match. For example, in this case, it is an elbow foul, so Michael can keep all the positives of the exercise but ignore those elbow fouls or not do those elbow fouls which he was doing during the training. And since we were just talking about Genadi Kvikvina's match, few days ago Gennady uploaded a video explaining why he lost to Michael the way he did. First of all, before the match, Gennady clearly said that we are not going to hear any excuses about the bicep after the match ends. But this is not what actually happened, because Gennady did talk about his bicep for almost 3 to 4 minutes, explaining why it wasn't at its best. But to be fair to Gennady, he did say before the match that his bicep lifts are going to be around 90% of its peak shape when the match actually happens. So Gennady said that after round 1, he couldn't even feel his bicep. It was gone and there was nothing that he could do after that. But Michael Todd addressed this question, this situation, even before Gennady made this video. He said that I don't think it was about the bicep, because when you are in that flop wrist press position, the bicep is barely engaged. It's mostly about the tricep, your shoulder and your elbows. And still, if we were to consider what Gennady was saying as the complete truth, still in the 4th round, when supposedly his bicep had completely blown up, still he gave a better fight to Michael than the 1st round when his bicep was fresh. So I agree with Michael here that maybe the bicep wasn't that much engaged at all when he was in that press position. Gennady said that his wrist felt totally okay, but it was his bicep that just couldn't handle that much pressure. So he mentioned that there should be a rematch. And I agree. It seems as if whenever Gennady arm wrestles, there is always a room, a scope for a rematch. Like, just tell me who wouldn't want to see a Jerry versus Gennady rematch? Who wouldn't want to see a Devon versus Gennady rematch? We have already seen the Michael Todd rematch, and we would have seen the Hermes Gasparini rematch if he won this match. Because yes, Hermes kind of dominated Gennady in the first 4 rounds, but then he had to exert so much pressure that his shoulder kind of got injured, and Gennady won the final 2 rounds, and that was when Gennady was just making a comeback into arm wrestling. So I think there should definitely be a rematch of this one as well, because in the first match, Michael Todd wasn't at his best, wasn't at his 100%, and in this match Gennady wasn't at 100%. So a rematch makes sense. Final decider, whoever wins this one wins the series. And Gennady also called out the referees by saying that they missed a false start on Michael in the final round of the match, which not only cost him that particular round, but it cost him the entire match. And then he quickly said that the referees and the organization has always been fair, so he cannot really complain that much. But it's not really true for Genadi Kvikvina matches. There is always a controversy. The Jerry Cadret match, one of the most controversial matches because of the refereeing, people talked about it a lot. Then the Devon Ladd match, some missed calls by the referees, shoulders were not checked, false starts were not put into check, and some extra elbow fouls given, some elbow fouls not given. People still discuss that, and now similar things are being discussed by Gennady himself about this Michael Todd match. So there's always a controversy. It's not fair to both of the athletes, that's what I can say. So interesting thing that Gennady pointed out, and the fans were quick to correct him in the comment section, that the referees missed a false start on Gennady too. And the round where Gennady pinned Michael, it wasn't really a pin. So referees made a mistake there as well. So Gennady has no right to complain about that. But before this match, Gennady already started talking about a LEVAN match. But after this one, after seeing his own performance, after seeing the conditioning of his bicep, he still said that except for LEVAN Saginashvili, even now he believes that everyone is beatable and he's coming for everyone. Thanks for watching, like the video and subscribe.